Hello, good morning, and welcome. My name is Kobe Spiking Chroma, and the show is JoyNews Interactive. Today, we'll be talking a lot of tech, and we'll be talking about a few things that are happening amidst the COVID-19 pandemic. And we'll be taking your comments from social media on Facebook and Twitter, and then sharing it with you. We'll also be looking at the trends, what is happening on Twitter as we go along. First off, we'll be looking at what's happening online with Google. So Google says they're using location data to show which places are affected, are actually complying to stay-at-home orders. So all the people who are deciding to move around, don't forget your maps actually track you. Now, Google is sharing this information with medical health workers to tell all the areas that the people are actually conforming to the stay-at-home orders. For instance, in Ghana, where we have the lockdown, when people decide to move out, companies or Google is actually giving health workers the data from their location, which they're using to track all the people, to tell them that, hey, these areas are not conforming to stay-at-home orders. Now, I want to see how that would work in Ghana, right? It'd be easy to tell this. We can already use location history to check traffic situation in town. So imagine using that same technology to check people who are not staying at home. Now, moving on from that, if you are a musician, if you are a creative person who does stuff on music and you upload it on SoundCloud, well, SoundCloud is giving you the ability to ask for donations from people who listen to your music. Now, what SoundCloud is doing now is that they've given a button, they've enabled a button on SoundCloud pages. So if you're a musician who uploads your content to SoundCloud, you can actually be receiving donations from people who listen to your music. So musicians out there who use SoundCloud, there's a time to make some money. Now, if you like Netflix and chill in your lockdown period, if you've been watching content on TV, online, you probably know HBO. HBO is the company that brought us Game of Thrones. Well, they're making some TV shows and movies free. Yes, you heard that right. They're making some TV shows and movies free. So you want to go on there and then get, wait, I didn't tell you. If you're in Ghana, you probably may not get access to these things unless you're using a VPN. So a VPN basically masks your location and makes you look like you are actually coming to HBO from the Americas, where most of the content is being allowed to be watched. So you want to try that out. And we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we have more stories on JoyNews Interactive. So welcome back to JoyNews Interactive. As people all over the world seek for information to keep safe and to observe the best hygienic practices, it's important that we remain cautious with the source of information and the kind of data consumed on a daily basis. Today on Tech Talk and Social Media Update, we share some sources of the best graph and data for tracking the coronavirus pandemic. The first source is the Johns Hopkins 2019 Novel Coronavirus Visual Dashboard. Johns Hopkins University Center for Systems, Science and Engineering has assembled one of the simplest ways to track the virus worldwide. The map aggregates data from 17 sources, including the World Health Organization, the European Center for Disease Prevention and Control, and several individual governments. The site tallies the total cases by country or hotspot, the number of deaths, and more optimistically, the number of people who have recovered. The second is the COVID tracking project. Now, this deals with case numbers. I mean, case numbers don't tell the whole story, though. It's also helpful to know how many people are being tested. This actually works in the United States. That's where the COVID tracking project is helpful. The project is a volunteer effort led by the Atlantic's Alexis Madrigal, presenting a straightforward state-by-state tally of tests. It collects data from the most trustworthy known sources, mostly state public health authorities. Then it reports how many tests have come back positive or negative, how many people are hospitalized, if that data is available, and how many have died in each state. Number 3 is the 91 DIVOC. From the name, you can obviously tell that it's just a flip over of COVID-19. You probably heard the phrase, quote, flatten the curve. Basically, if we can slow the virus's spread enough, we can keep infections at a manageable level so hospitals won't be overwhelmed. How do you measure that curve? Fricka recommends using the visualizations on 91 DIVOC created by the University of Illinois Associate Computer Science Professor Wade Fagan Umschneider. The site pulls data from Stanford's dashboard and plots it on a chart, comparing different countries or US states with each location's timeline starting on the day it reported 100 cases. It doesn't mark only the absolute growth of cases, but also the rate at which cases are doubling, helping you, the reader, gauge whether an outbreak is slowing down or it's speeding up. Moving on, we have also the Worldometer. Worldometer is also recommended as the country by country breakdowns provides you the general reference that aggregates its case numbers. It draws data from government agencies and reliable media reports, and is one of the sources for John Hopkins' map, Worldometer. Worldometer was apparently hacked in late March, and some fake Pakistan statistics caused temporary panic. The numbers were reverted, but it's a good reminder to double check any seriously alarming trends with other dashboards or news outlets. Another source of graphics and data is the IHME COVID-19 projections. For a more concrete look at why flattening the curve matters, the University of Washington's Institute for Health Metrics and Evaluation has broken down how COVID-19 may affect hospitals across the US. And last but not the least is the COVID Act Now. COVID Act Now presents a less rosy model. This site was created by a team including ex-Google employee Max Henderson, Alaska State Legislator Jonathan Kreis Tompkins, and Stanford University medical scholar Nirav Shah. It models the growth of cases under several different scenarios, including a shelter-in-place style scenario with poor compliance, and a well-enforced shelter-in-place order, and a limited social distancing order. The state-by-state breakdown also notes which measures states are currently taking. So that's it for how to track your COVID-19 pandemic data. Next, we're going to Twitter to see what is trending on Twitter. Ghana Music Throwback was trending today as people continue to share their memories of hip life. And we asked you which of your hip life artists you miss. So we took to Twitter to check this. As you can see, we have the Black Love album by Sarkodie, which was reviewed on Daybreak Hits. So moving on from that, a lot of throwback music that people shared on Twitter. I'm sure a lot of us saw a video that was trending on social media about a military officer who took to advising people in a public transport bus, popularly known as Trotro, advising them why social distancing was important, why the lockdown was important, and why it was important that they would basically ensure or follow through with the instructions that were giving them. And that video went viral on social media. People were encouraging the military man for his good works. Let's look at some of the comments on social media. So before we show you the comments, we'll take the video.
But it's better than losing your lives. Do you understand? It is better than losing your lives. Go through the hardships in your house. It is better than you living this world. Your maker up there has a purpose for you. So please stay home. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Make it very easy for everybody. Look, we all have our families. We would have been happy staying with our families back home. But we are out here.
So we'll take some of your comments about the military man who was advising the people in the Chocho. First comment says, "This is what we want. We are one." That's from Paris Williams. David Tay says, "It is never bad to hold this very soldier in high esteem for good work done. However, I think that we should also understand the caliber and the demography of the people we deal with each day in this country. Of course, there are people who, upon hearing just few words of advice, they obey rules. Yet there are equally other classes of people who no amount of edifying words can make them succumb to the dictates of authorities. So therefore, I rather see it wrong when we are trying to praise the good Samaritan soldier over other colleagues as if they are the most wicked and perhaps heartless soldiers towards civilians. Let's stop the indirect discrimination and hypocrisy and know that they are all working equally assiduously towards the achievement of a common goal, which is fighting COVID-19, but in diverse ways and means." That was David Tay. Rich Love says that this is a classical example of a military man. All the others beating people here and there have contaminated mindsets. Idrisu says this man is indeed a true soldier, not those brutes who enjoy maltreating people. So those were your comments about the military man who was advising people in the Chocho. Some agree, some say both forces are needed. So thank you very much for joining me. My name is once again Kobe Spiky Nkrumah. You can catch me next week or on Tuesday on Joy FM on Geek Squad.